to Crafty Wednesdays. Today we're going to be working on a watercolor luminaria. This is one that we did, and another one just to give you some idea of the finished product. The supplies that you're going to be needing are tissue paper, and tissue paper comes in a lot of different colors, different shapes, and you're going to need a glass jar of some type. It's better if it's got a smooth surface, so any type of empty like pickle jar or jelly jar works. These ones we picked up at the dollar store, so pretty affordable. You're going to need some Mod Podge, any kind. This one is the glossy one, but any one works. And you're going to need a foam brush. And again, these were dollar store. So to get started, we're going to be cutting up some tissue paper, and you're also going to need a scissor. So you're going to just take your tissue paper and just cut up little squares, and they can be about that size. You can do all the different colors, and you can have them as bright as you want. Some of these tissue papers are like pastels. This one's got some sparkles in it. This one's got some patterns. It's whatever you like. So just take the tissue paper and cut up little squares. Just watch your fingers. So your squares will be about that size. And it doesn't really matter. They can vary in sizes. It doesn't really matter. They're going to overlap on this jar when we put it all together anyway. So once you get your stack of tissue paper squares, you can put them in a little pile. And I had pre-cut some ahead of time just to save time here. So this is my little baggie that I pre-cut. I'm going to stack those up here. Lay out the colors so I can see what colors I'm grabbing. So get some blue in there, and some green, all different ones. Okay, so we have those. Next, I'm going to choose which one should we do. We'll do the smaller one first, and then Shannon's going to hop in a little bit, and she's going to show us a different type that she's going to be making with a larger jar. So we're going to always have some paper plates to put your Mod Podge on. Mod Podge is kind of like a real thick glue. It doesn't work to use like Elmer's glue. You pretty much have to have the Mod Podge. And through the Rockford Park District, you can get a kit, and in the kit it will have a little jar of the Mod Podge in it, along with a brush and some tissue paper squares and a glass jar. So what you're going to do first is pour out a little bit of the Mod Podge, and it's really thick like glue, almost like a thick paint glue. So you're going to put that on maybe a little paper plate or a paper bowl. Just easy cleanup. If you want to use something paper that you can just toss. And then you're going to take your brush and your glass jar, and it's easier if you can hold it on the inside so you can keep turning it. You're going to put some of the Mod Podge on the glass. And you can work kind of quickly, or you can just take small strokes. But what your main goal is to get the Mod Podge on the glass jar, okay? And what this is going to do, it's going to act like a glue. So you're basically gluing the tissue paper squares to your glass jar. So then, once you got a little bit of glue, and try to work in small areas so that the glue doesn't dry out. If you cover the whole thing, you might have areas that will dry out, and then you'll just have to redo it. So we'll do a small area first. If you can put your hand in your jar, it's easy to turn, and you don't get as much glue on your hands. But then you're just going to take your tissue paper squares, and just kind of stick them on there. You can stick them all over I like to just kind of mix up my colors a little bit, but it's your creation, however you want to do it. You can use all one color, you could use multiple colors, your favorite colors, whatever you want to use. So you're going to just stick those on there. And if you get an area where that one's not sticking, just go ahead and add a little bit more of the Mod Podge. So that will stick on there. And then you want to make sure that it doesn't, because it's going to be sitting on your dresser or your counter like that. So you just want to make sure that it doesn't hang over the edge. And you can keep adding the Mod Podge as you go along. And this is going to dry clear. So it doesn't really matter. I know it looks like it's going to be all white, but once it dries, you can see on here, it dried clear. It's kind of glossy. So don't be afraid to use quite a bit. And just keep on adding. Stick them on. And again, if you have areas that are sticking up or that are not have enough glue, just go ahead and add a little bit more glue. There's no wrong way of doing this.
Shannon. I'm picking up kind of where Paula left off with her project. So this is mine. I just have a couple empty spaces that I'm going to start filling in. I kind of did a pattern, so did some light blue stripes and then did like lines of green and then blue and pink and just kind of alternated around the jar. This is a little bit of a bigger jar, so it took a little bit longer when it came to that. But once you have all your pieces kind of on there where you want them, as you can tell, mine has a lot of holes in it, so you can either keep those holes if you want a little clear glass showing, or all you gotta do is go through and kind of fill with some Mod Podge and then pick some other tissue paper colors and kind of lay it down to cover those holes. So we're just gonna go through and cover up some of that stuff with all this tissue paper. You can use different colors. If you're just starting yours, you can cut a couple different shapes. I used some triangles. You could use circles, diamonds. You can get creative if you're cutting your own tissue paper with that. So now that mine's pretty much covered, there's a lot of pieces that are sticking up like here. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna just completely cover this whole thing with the leftover Mod Podge. And when you cover, you wanna kind of dab. You don't wanna swipe or paint with your brush. When you swipe or paint, it could catch and you could actually pull off your pieces. So you're gonna wanna dab and kind of flatten all the corners. Make sure the corners are really stuck to that glass. And remember, Paula talked about how this will dry clear. So you don't have to worry about if you see all the white, that just means it's still wet. So just keep going around and covering everything up so it stays on there really good. Some of mine have stuck better than others, so we're just gonna keep going. Let's take a look. It's getting there, just a couple more. If you need to pour out more Mod Podge, feel free. All right, so now that it's pretty much done, mine is still wet. This is the one that Paula had created, so hers is drying, so you can kind of see the different styles, the different colors. You can make it all your own. It may take a little bit for it to dry, so just set it in a place that it won't fall over because it is glass, and let it dry so it all kind of comes together. When they are completely dry, you now have a very pretty jar that you can, you know, set in a room or do other stuff. But we are going to make ours into luminarias. And what makes a luminaria are little lights inside. So sometimes you'll see around neighborhoods, especially close to Christmas or holidays, they may put out candles inside of bags. Those are luminarias. So we're gonna create these into pretty ones. These are just little battery operated tea lights. And you can turn them on and off. Some of them have different colors. So this one's red, turns into green. This one is just a light like you would see. And then you would just place it in the jar and you light them up, and that's what makes it a luminaria. And then you can set these in windows so your neighbors can enjoy them, and all that, and then you just turn it off when you're all done. All right, so we've got a couple ones that Paul and I have made. These are kind of our final products. As you can see, this light looks really cool in this one. It's kind of flickering. We did go through this really quickly, so that's just kind of the step-by-step. We will also be posting the instructions, so watch for on the Therapeutic Recreation Facebook page on May 27th. We will be posting the instructions, and then we'll have a spot for everyone to share if you would like your final product. We would love to see everyone what you've created with this, as well as just interact with you online in that. So we are going to keep doing this. So we are going to, this Friday, we will be interacting and doing a fitness video on YouTube as well. So watch for the fitness video, and then next week we are going to kick off with a really yummy cooking recipe on Monday. So stay in touch, let us know if you have any ideas. And if you are not on the mailing list for the emails with the newsletters that will have the materials and everything, just get in touch with Paula or Shannon from the Therapeutic Rec Department, and we will make sure that your email gets added to that list. Hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.